Good morning and welcome to the Chamber Business Report. I'm John Phillips, president of the Palm Coast Flagler Chamber of Commerce, and our Chamber Business Report is sponsored by Klein Construction, building the future of Flagler County for the past 30 years. Also by Smart Technologies, they make business simple. By Intracoastal Bank of Palm Coast, community banking the way it should be, member FDIC, and also by Katz & Green, Flagler County's personal injury attorneys since 1996. And again, welcome to the Chamber Business Report. I've got my sidekick here and co-host Kelsey Lombard. Kelsey, good morning.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
And our guest today is Frank McManus. Frank is with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate. He's also an ambassador for the Chamber of Commerce, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But let's get to know Frank a little bit. Frank, good morning. Thanks for being with us here on the Chamber Business Report.
Well, good morning, John. Good morning, Kelsey. And I just want to take a moment to say thank you for having me. This is a great opportunity to share a little bit about myself and our business and where we're headed. So Thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm glad to have you with us, and you're exactly right. That's what our goal is on the Chamber Business Report, is to tell the story behind the business. And I think especially in real estate, I'm telling you something you already clearly know. It's all about relationships and building trust in people's homes and their lifetime investments. So you've got to do that. You've done that. You're clearly having great success. But hopefully this gives more people a chance to get to know Frank a little bit better, so that they have a more of a comfort to chat with you and talk about their real estate needs. And so let's learn a little bit more about you and how the real estate journey began for you. When did it begin? Where did it begin? And then we'll eventually get to what's going on here with Better Homes and Gardens in the greater Palm Coast area.
Well, just to keep it kind of brief, I spent 36 years working for an aerospace and defense contractor in a program management role that took me to many international destinations doing business development and so forth. So I made a lot of contacts internationally, got to work with a lot of different cultures, visit a lot of different countries, as I mentioned. And I was coming towards the end of that career, and my wife was in real estate for about 7 years at that point. And I thought, well, 2 years before I retire, I want to transition to get my license. And the goal there was to work together. We were going to work as a team, and we were going to, conquer the real estate world together.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yes. So I went and got my license. I had attended a global real estate council meeting in Orlando, made some great contacts, got some great suggestions on taking some courses, took a course, a Certified International Property Specialist course. And after that course, I sat with the instructor, and he said to me, "Tell me a little bit about your background." So I shared my background that I just shared with you. And that just led towards more and more contacts, more and more recommendations on connecting with different people, building relationships with different people in the industry that helped me grow my global footprint. That was when I retired in 2019. I got my license in 2017, got my Certified International Property Specialist designation from the National Association of Realtors in 2019, and retired at the end of 2019 from Lockheed Martin, and went into real estate full time. Unfortunately, that's when COVID hit.
Yeah, 2019. I know what happened after that.
So, come the beginning of 2020, everything was shut down. I was all pumped, ready to travel, go international, build those relationships, etc. And we had to do everything virtually. We had Zoom after Zoom with country after country, and it was just an amazing experience. But talking about more locally here, our office is, I'm with Better Homes and Gardens, as you mentioned, and our office is located, we have 3 offices, one in the south side of Orlando, north side of Orlando, and here in Ormond Beach. And we service our clients that go from Palm Coast down to New Smyrna Beach and back to the land. And we feel that with our team, that's an area that we can focus on, that's an area that we can be your local experts for. That's where our footprint is of our clients that we serve, the clients that we've built relationships with and so forth. So that's a little bit of background. I'm not quite sure how much more you
Yeah,
want
no,
to know.
no, that's really good. And I never really thought about the transition from your aerospace experience until you talked about it and how that would be so beneficial. As you mentioned, lots of cultures, working with different people, different styles, different personalities serves you really well, because I have to imagine, I've never worked a day in real estate in my life, but every single client and every single customer is going to be different.
Absolutely.
And that experience, while a lot of folks might not think, well, how does that translate from aerospace, international aerospace to real estate? Well, it's really about building relationships and working with people.
It absolutely is. And, being in leadership in the aerospace industry, you're exposed to a lot of training, a lot of career development, leadership training that just helps you with conflicts, helps you with social skills, soft skills, etc. And being in program management, that helps you, remain organized, prioritize, and be, take the transaction through and be calm and be consistent and try to explain and educate our clients as to what to expect when it happens, before it happens, and after it happens, so that they know and they feel confident and they feel they trust you.
Yeah,
to take care of them.
That experience, especially in today's what I call microwave society, we want everything immediately. That things at Lockheed Martin and in the aerospace industry don't happen at that pace. And so seeing it through with the details, because in the real estate business, it doesn't happen at that pace either. You don't walk in a house today and go, I love it. Unless you got, a couple $100,000 in your pocket, right. You're not walking out with a deal.
Exactly.
There's a lot of steps through that from getting, mortgage and closing and going through all the steps. And it's a lengthy process.
And even to your point, John, even before you get to see the first house, there's a lot of education. There's a lot of counseling, advising, whatever you want to call it, consulting, that you have to work a client through. You take a first-time buyer. They've never bought before, so they have to understand the whole process, from soup to nuts.
Yeah,
and then you have a senior person who has been in their home for 25 years. A lot has changed over the last 25 years relative to laws and regulations and rules and so forth that we have to abide to.
And it's such an intricate process that someone like you who has expertise in that area can help guide them, because it's so much more than just, what's your budget to buy a house?
Exactly.
Where would you like to live? What sort of lifestyle? How big? How small? Pool? No pool? All those different things. Garage? No garage? And then all the other things like you were talking about on the sales end, because of our state laws about property taxes and the advantages to being in your home for a lengthy time and the benefits that you reap from that. Not everybody realizes those. So again, expertise, somebody like yourself can help guide them through that. So
absolutely.
And just knowing that that's the biggest purchase that you're going to make, you want someone that you're going to trust by your side and answering all your questions, and affordability. What can I afford? So I think that's really important too.
Yes. And you have to put them at ease.
Yeah.
To your point.
Yeah, because of that investment.
Yes.
Whether it's a 20-year mortgage, a 25-year, 30-year, whatever it might be, it's an investment long term.
And for some folks, getting that down payment together is huge.
Yeah.
And they look at that down payment and they say, I don't want to waste that. I want to make sure I'm doing the right thing. I want to make sure I'm setting myself up for the future. Yeah. And when you invest in property, in real estate, it's really a part of your wealth management plan. You are setting yourself up for the future as first-time buyers, as an example. So that's extremely important.
Big picture. What's the current real estate climate like in let's just focus on Palm Coast. I know you said you cover up down at DeLand and New Smyrna, but most of our listeners are going to be in the Flagler County area. But what's the current climate of real estate here in Palm Coast?
Yeah, our market is actually balanced right now. You can go into different pockets, different parts of the town, and you can see more inventory, and then you can go into other areas where it's perhaps luxury, and you see less inventory. Luxury inventory, your higher priced homes generally stay on the market a little bit longer. It's a more narrow market of buyers, and therefore it sits a little longer. Your median priced homes are generally staying on the market anywhere from 90 to 120 days on average. Of course, if you've priced it low, you're going to get investors to come in and take it over quickly. So it just depends on the circumstance. It depends on the location, obviously.
And then you're talking about your experience. Obviously, you kind of got into real estate, as you mentioned, in 2017, and then advanced through your career in 2019. COVID hit, so let's kind of eliminate that portion, and maybe say since 2021, how has the real estate market evolved during the last 4 years? Again, we're going to exclude the COVID part, so everybody says you didn't even touch on. We're past that.
Yeah, we are past that for sure. Thank goodness.
That was a once in a lifetime thing, and we're nothing we could have done about it then, and can't do anything about it now. So since 2021, approximately.
Well, we came out of COVID and we went into a hyper seller's market, and we couldn't keep inventory on the market long enough. We had cars lined down the street waiting to get in for showings. Prices went, sky high. You were going $50,000, $60,000, even more above list price just to get the home. We had an extremely large amount of folks coming in from out of state as well, migrating from the north and from the west to come to Florida for a lot of reasons. And now we have transitioned into more of a balanced market, as I mentioned before, where it's back to normal. And I'll say normal.
And just real quick for our listeners, a balanced market is not a seller's market, not a buyer's market. We're not literally 50-50, but a balanced market. Sometimes it's a seller's market. Sometimes it's a buyer's market. Balanced is probably the best for everyone.
It is. A balanced market is where sellers and buyers have an equal amount of negotiation power in the purchase. And in addition to what you were mentioning, a balanced market is generally when we have 5 to 7 months of inventory. That's how statistically a balanced market is defined.
Yeah, and how does Palm Coast compare to? And I know your market doesn't go to St. Augustine, but I'm going to kind of use the two bookend cities: St. Augustine to the north, Daytona to the south. How does Palm Coast fit in there, price wise, inventory wise? Especially Daytona, I think is probably where most of your experience is with Better Homes and Gardens, since that's one of your markets. How do we compare to them?
I would say that Palm Coast is in a better position price-wise and inventory-wise than Daytona. And then St. Augustine is really not my market, but I would venture to say that St. Augustine is in a growth mode as well. So there's a lot of new construction opportunity. I would say that the prices are probably they could be marginally higher than here. But there's good opportunities as well there. Yeah.
And in terms of you talk about balanced market, buyer-seller market, I have to imagine that's probably, I mean, it varies city by city, county by county.
It does.
But not tremendously,
not
probably.
Tremendous.
Flagler County to Tampa might be very different, but I imagine our neighboring counties are probably similar.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you were to go to Miami, if you were to go to Tampa, Clearwater area, you're going to be in a different. You're going to be in more of a slightly leaning towards a seller's market.
Okay, gotcha.
Because the inventory goes a little bit faster.
We're going to take a short time out. We're visiting with Frank McManus. He's with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate. His practice goes all the way south to New Smyrna Beach. Of course, it covers all of Flagler County, and south to New Smyrna and west over to DeLand on the west side of Volusia County. And we are here on the Chamber Business Report. We'll be right back after this short timeout.
When I was 12 years old, I had an accident my mother called Cats and Green. Now here I am again. I was in the car, sitting at a red light, and I was rear-ended from behind. And boy, was I hurt. So I called Jeff Green. He really worked hard for me, and I was extremely happy with the result. If anybody ever asks, I recommend Jeff Green.
I'm Jeff Green. And I'm Paul Katz. We've been Flagler County's personal injury lawyers since 1988. Our office, our only office, is in Palm Coast. Your results may differ.
Thank you, Cats and Green.
In a world where personal service and people who really care about you can be lost, we want you to know we are different. We love engaging with our clients. That's just how we've been since 2008. Your milestones in life and business are our milestones, and we are with you every step of the way. We can do everything that big banks do, but we add the community banking touch. If you're already one of our clients, thank you. And if not, we would love to be your locally owned community bank. I'm Laura Gilveri. Welcome to Intracoastal Bank, member FDIC.
Back in the old days, thieves would break into your business through a door or window. Today, hackers break into your business and home in ways you never thought of. Your printer, security cameras, scanners, thermostats, remote workers, and their devices. We're Smart Technologies. We know how to identify and secure your entire network, not just your computers. If you would like a free cybersecurity assessment, give us a call today.
Smart Technologies.
Call us 252-2292.
Be local, buy local from local companies and members of the Flagler Home Builders Association.
Hi, folks. This is Bill Gallagher with SolarFit. Just a note to the wise, beware of unlicensed contractors knocking on your door. SolarFit has been installing solar systems in our community since 1975. We won't knock on your door, so give us a call at 445-7606, 445-7606.
The Flagler Home Builders Association, building a better community for you.
Welcome back to the Chamber Business Report. I'm John Phillips with the Palm Coast Flagler Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber Business Report is sponsored by Klein Construction, building the future of Flagler County for the past 30 years. By Smart Technologies, they make business simple. By Intracoastal Bank of Palm Coast, community banking the way it should be, member FDIC. And also by Katz & Green, Flagler County's personal injury attorneys since 1996. Our guest today is Frank McManus. He's with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate. And in our first segment, we talked a little bit about the Palm Coast market. We got to know Frank a little bit better. And one of the things that I didn't realize that that you focused on, and that Better Homes and Gardens did as well, is in the international side of real estate. So is that something that drew you to the brand of Better Homes and Gardens, or is that something that was kind of a byproduct? You obviously had an interest in international work because of your experience with Lockheed Martin in your previous career. So, right. Was it a natural fit, or is that something that attracted you to Better Homes and Gardens?
I think it was a natural fit for us. In working with my broker, my partner, we opted to buy into a franchise last year. And that was after about 2 years of research on various franchises to determine which would be the best fit for us. So within our brokerage, we have some agents that are also globally minded and globally oriented. And we have a lot of international investors that are clients of ours as well, mostly in the Orlando market, buying homes for short-term rentals and long-term rentals as well. So, which is also a part of our business that we do rental management, property management. So yes, in looking at those franchises, we decided to go with Better Homes and Gardens based on the fact of their footprint. They are in 13 different countries as well. So fluency there. Yeah.
And Better Homes and Gardens is such a trusted brand.
Absolutely.
I mean, people my age, Kelsey might not know this, but Better Homes and Gardens to me as a kid was a magazine.
It was a magazine.
Oh, see, I know that.
And it was a cookbook, too.
Yeah, and exactly. It wasn't in the real estate business that I was aware of as a young person. Yes. But whether it was in real estate before or not really doesn't matter. It is a trusted brand. Mm-hmm. It is a well-known, well-established brand. And not just domestically, which is why it fits well for the international market.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think you may have heard that the parent company of Better Homes and Gardens is Anywhere. And Anywhere is in the process of merging with Compass Real Estate.
Okay.
So Compass is got an extremely large international footprint as well. So that's going to be even better for our company in the future. Yeah. We'll still maintain the Better Homes and Garden branding and so forth, but we're really looking forward to that opportunity with them.
Let's brag a little bit about the growth of the business. When you started there, how many folks did you have, and how many do you have now?
We had 2 in the Ormond Beach office, I should say.
Right. Yeah.
Across the brokerage, in total, we had 35, and we've grown to 45.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just in the last probably 6-7 months.
That's awesome. Fantastic work.
So,
how many on your team in Palm Coast here?
We have It ebbs and flows, but we have about 5.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice.
And when we talk about international real estate, are there specific countries that you are focused on? I know you've done some travel recently to Europe, to Italy, and to England. But are there specific markets and specific regions that you're focused in?
There are. I focus on Ireland, England, Portugal, Italy, and Peru.
Wow.
Those are the countries that I have teams established in, that I've built relationships with, that not only include on the ground real estate agents, but also developers, builders, and the typical resource set, like immigration attorneys and so forth, currency exchangers and things like that. The things that you need to have at your beck and call when you go to purchase a property internationally.
Yeah, it's got to be a very different. I have to imagine, haven't done any international real estate, but different country to country and market to market because of rules and regulations. Obviously, it's a very highly regulated industry in the United States. I'm sure it's highly regulated in every other country as well, just differently regulated.
Yes. You will find varying degrees of regulation when you go from one country to another. Excuse me. And that's what's important as an international real estate specialist. You need to understand, what are the cultural differences? What are the regulation differences, rule differences, and so forth? And you need to really know that information like the back of your hand, because if I'm going to Kelsey and Kelsey's interested in buying a property in Ireland, she's trusting me to guide her through that process. She's trusting me to let her know, hey, you need to have a 10% deposit. That means you have to go and put that deposit into a currency exchange company. You have to then convert it into euro or sterling, depending on which part of Ireland you're going to. and you have to be prepared. And there's a whole host of other steps that we go through to educate and make them ready, have them be ready.
You've got a PhD in real estate.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that. I learn
Sure.
every day. I was just in Italy for 2 weeks, part business. We went to a region that a couple of clients were interested in. So we went to preview some properties. They were specifically looking for something that was pre-owned, something that was sort of somewhat semi-historic in a sense. So we went and previewed some properties in those regions to bring that back to our clients, and so that they can get a real, hands-on, what does it look like? What do you get for your money? What's the market like? What's the pricing like, et cetera?
That's amazing. I love how you say part business, because I know you were
part business.
It was part personal too, and I think that's such a luxury of what you do, is that you get to travel, but you're seeing the world and doing it on your business time. And I think that's such a luxury.
It's a big byproduct of the role.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But we've got to take advantage of, we talked about all your expertise and the knowledge that you have and the experience that you have. What's the best way for somebody to get a hold of you if they wanted to reach you, Frank?
Well,
that's critical.
Yes.
They can come to a chamber event because you're at a lot of them, and that's a great opportunity. But if they wanted to connect directly, what's the best way to do it?
You could reach out to me through my cell phone or WhatsApp at 386-414-9050. You can also email me at frankmcmanus, 59, at gmail.com. I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook as well. So,
and you have a website
and I have
people
a website.
Can go to.
Yes, it's frankmcmanus.myagent.site.
Awesome.
And site is SITE.
Yeah,
Site.
perfect. So a lot of ways to reach, but maybe the easiest way that I can remember, because I wrote it down, 386-414-9050.
You got it.
That's a text. That's a phone call. That's how you get with Frank to learn about your real estate needs, whether you are a buyer or a seller or an investor, whatever role you might need. He's a very knowledgeable person and can help you a great deal. So you're also very knowledgeable about helping people at the Chamber of Commerce, and we are grateful for your time as an ambassador with the Chamber. How did you get started as an ambassador? How did that opportunity present itself to you?
Well, I think I got involved with the Chamber initially in a way to meet business folks in the community, number one. And secondly is look for opportunities to give back to our community. I think it's very important that we do that as a part of our business model. It just shows involvement, and in doing so, you really get to know the people in the community, the business leaders in the community, at a different level. And in doing some of those things, I was approached, would you like to be a part of an ambassador group? And the ambassador group is charged with, not only going to after hours and welcoming people, but you actually go out, you do an outreach to new members, you deliver their packages, their new member package, you walk through upcoming events with them, you walk through who's on the board for them so that they understand who they can reach out to if they have any questions. Kelsey is a tremendous help in that regard as well. But being an ambassador, I think, is just being a true representative, a volunteer representative for the chamber, and sharing what the chamber has to offer to business leaders and the community.
Well, we're grateful for your time.
And I have to say, Frank, you're a true OG. You were a ambassador before I was with the chamber, and when I came on, you were just leading the team and whatever efforts we had, and really putting your ideas out there. And really, where we've come, we wouldn't have been able to be there without you and the ambassador team that are OGs. So
it's a team
I
effort.
appreciate it. Yes.
Thank you.
And you and I got to volunteer our time with the American Legion in their recent golf tournament. And again, same benefits. We're helping a wonderful organization here in our community by donating our time and a little bit of talent, maybe, and relationships, and helping them. And I view that as community service, but community support, community give back, and whether it's the American Legion, the Chamber, or a host of other wonderful organizations, I know you're active in the community, and we get a lot more out of it than we give, and great benefits that come from it. So
for sure,
yeah.
For sure.
Thank you for your time today. Thanks for being on our show.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's Frank McManus. He's with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate. Again, his cell phone number 386-414-9050. If you want to talk real estate, he's your guy here in Palm Coast. And if you're also looking down in Volusia all the way to New Smyrna or west to DeLand, he can help you with that as well. We'll say thanks again to Klein Construction, to Smart Technologies, to Intercoastal Bank, and also to Katz & Green. And we'll wrap up this version of the Chamber Business Report. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday.
Thanks for tuning in. Bye.